What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Afternoon recap. Here we go. Want to break down a few stocks and wanted to see how everybody did today. So when you arrive to the channel, drop something in the chat. I'll put something in right now, real quick. How was your trading day? Let me know in the chat. All right, we're live. So we're just going to run through the markets today. We're going to talk about what happened. We're going to talk about the fact that we've got all-time highs again after today's close. Market closed about 50 minutes ago or so. It was a pretty active day for me. I wanted to check in with you guys, see how you did, answer questions if you have them. What's up, Bradley Waldo Jr.? I'm glad to have you. How was your trading day? I want to share what I did today. I ended up closing a lot of options positions, so it was a pretty active day. I considered putting on a few more. I want to talk about that a little bit and kind of get into my thought process on a few of those. But if you guys have any, or gals have any tickers that you want to look at or talk about going into tomorrow, we can definitely do that. What's up, Ben? Ben Maillard, how are you? From Indiana. Nice, nice. Where in Indiana? Yeah, so let's jump into this a little bit. So we got the spiders up here on the daily time frame, and we've got 337.42 marked off where we closed, but with a high of 337.65. We are again at all-time highs. I feel like we just keep repeating this. Again, we're at all-time highs. It just keeps happening. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about how that can bias our trades. And let's talk about how we need to be very careful about trades that we choose to enter right now because we are at all-time highs. In the chat, hey, Candy Pena, what's up? No more DGAS and UGAS. No, I'm out. No more DGAS, no more UGAS. Just not good vehicles for, in my opinion, not a good product to trade. I don't like the decay. We talked about it this morning. You can watch this morning's video on the channel and we talk about it a little bit, but just not good for holding longer than a day. And I'm not day trading, I'm options trading. So I'm not trading that anymore right now. But let's hop over, let's look at the Qs real quick. See what the Qs ended up doing. So let's see, we got NASDAQ, so we got 234.38, also all-time highs. As we know, the SPY and the Qs kind of move hand in hand. They're very correlated, very closely correlated. Closed at 234.27, so another strong day out of the Qs. Now, I'm going to hop over. If you guys were part of the morning's live stream, we were talking about Shopify and how it had an earnings beat, a really good earnings beat. If you hover this in Thinkorswim, you can see the estimate was 27 cents, and they actually posted 47 cents per share earnings. So a huge upside move on Shopify. Shopify went all the way up almost to 600, and then just had this massive sell-off the entire day. I was going to check the news and see if anything had come out, just to see if there was anything crazy that caused that drop. But yeah, I haven't seen. It says that the price target on Shopify was raised to 650 by RBC Capital from 400. They raised their price target by $250 per share, which is just wild. So we were watching this today because I have an Iron Condor on Shopify, and it ripped my face off. So now I'm looking at some adjustments and was waiting to see what options I would have open to me, and then everything dropped. So I'm actually not in that bad of a position now. So we'll see how that plays out moving forward. Also this morning, I was talking about my shining star, Luckin Coffee. That's my number one. And you can see today, we didn't have a ton of activity, but it was just enough so I could close my naked put with a 30 strike. I sold a naked $30 put on Luckin. This was a couple weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and I just closed that out today. Collected about 55% profit, and then putting that capital to work somewhere else. So Luckin's looking good. I still have a few other puts on Luckin, so I'll be watching this one closely. Kenny says, why options? Are they simpler for you? Options can get pretty complicated. They're I find that when the day trading and stuff, that a lot of times my results are 50-50. I'll lose a day, win a day, lose a day, win a day. And ever since I started trading options, I've been very profitable. It's been a great journey. It's been a great experience. Options trading has allowed me to take an assumption about the market and then watch it play out. I felt like with day trading for me, it was too compressed, and I'd make a decision about an assumption on a stock. I'd get a move against me, get stopped out, and then ultimately it would end up going in my favor. The time frame was just too small. I needed a little more time. So I trade smaller, but I add to my positions in certain scenarios to build a position. And rather than going all in at once, I tend to nibble my way and leg into positions. That's really helped with the emotional side of things. And then I like to be patient with things. So options was just a good fit. Kenny, if you haven't heard of like a covered call when you own stock and then write a covered call, look that up, because that's a great strategy, and you'll kind of see why options can be so powerful. And there's so many options with options that you're kind of always having the ability to move a trade around. You can massage a trade to make it work out for you, rather than just taking a hard, cut loss, quick stop out, you're done. When you lose on a trade, you can massage it and move it and roll it and add time to it and sort of bring that trade back to life, and then ultimately give yourself enough time to be correct with an options trade. So Ben says, I'm up on LPTH today again, hoping it isn't a pump and dump tomorrow. I don't know anything about LPTH. Is that it's a penny stock. Right. I don't know anything about it either. I'm typically involved with large cap stocks. I like stocks that, companies I've heard of. I know what they do. I feel good about holding them for, a month at a time or so. But if you're up on this one, that's fantastic. That's looking like time to take profits, right? When did you enter that one, Ben? I'm curious to hear. But that's wild, LPTH. And what's the highest that's been? Oh, got a big pop. Let's see what's going on. So they beat their estimates. Wow, 9.6 million and 3 cents per share. Let's see. What's going on, Peter? What's my favorite option strategy? You noticed that I was more on the sell side than the buy side. My favorite option strategy, I would say right now, I really like owning long stock and selling covered calls. I like to reduce my cost basis. So if you don't know what I mean by that, say you buy a stock at $30 a share and you sell a covered call against it for $1. Now your break-even point, your cost basis, is now $29. And every time you sell premium, you collect that premium for selling a covered call, you keep lowering your cost basis. So you do this into perpetuity. So you might own 100 shares of, say, Uber. Let me bring up Uber real quick. I'll give you an example. Say I own 100 shares of Uber at 35. If I go into the trade tab and I look 30 days out, we'll say once a month I decide to sell a covered call. And say, I sell something kind of out of the way. Maybe I collect, 75 cents. Maybe I collect 50 cents. Maybe I collect a little over $1. If I do that enough times, ultimately I'll end up owning that stock for nothing. So that's the upside, is that even if a stock is moving down, if you keep selling covered calls, you're kind of moving down with that stock. So you're lowering your cost basis and giving yourself time to ultimately be right on a stock to move back to the upside. So covered calls are really one of my favorites. And then I like to sell naked puts. I like to sell naked puts, and I'll tell you exactly why if you compare it to selling put spreads. You've heard of spreads and you've heard of naked puts. Naked puts are so mobile, you can move them all over the place and collect credits, collect premium while you do this. When I say there's a sold put and a bought put, and if you're carrying that thing around, it's just, it can be a tough experience because they can be a little stuck in the mud depending on volatility. So let's check this out. Let's see, my bread and butter option strategy. Peter, I would just say covered calls and naked puts. Those are my favorites. Those are my go-tos. If I'm wanting to be a little more, if I'm nervous, if I'm uneasy, like if I were going to go in and trade Tesla right now, I would either trade an iron condor that's very, very wide, or I would trade either a call spread or a put spread. I wouldn't trade Tesla naked right now. So I think I use spreads if I'm really nervous and unsure of exactly what's to come. But when I'm doing things like on Uber or on Luckin Coffee or like on Carvana, that's a really good strategy for me, is just naked puts. But companies that I believe in, I like to go in, buy some long stock, and then sit on that stock and go ahead and start selling covered calls. And when I enter a stock position, I like to nibble my way in. Like if I'm looking for 100 shares of, say, Uber, when I entered this, because I recently had 100 shares, I would buy the dips. I'd buy 20 shares, 25 shares on the dips. Do that 4 times and get a nice cost average, and then start selling those covered calls. So I try to avoid going big at once and then turning over those covered calls. I like to nibble and just slowly kind of chip away. And then once I hit that 100 share mark, which is one contract in the options world, then I'll start turning over those covered calls. Anytime, Peter. Always interested in what strategies or others are playing. Thanks for the explanation. I'll take a look at those tonight. Peter, did we talk? Do you know about Tasty Trade, right? TastyTrade.com and Tastyworks. Anybody else know about Tasty Trade? Because they have great information. The guys over there, Tom and Tony, the whole team, they're amazing. So I always recommend their stuff, and I subscribe to a lot of their theory in trading options. It's been really helpful. But type in Tasty Trade, Google search Tasty Trade covered calls or Tasty Trade naked puts. You'll get videos that pop up, and they're amazing. They're all research backed. They apply math to everything, so it's fantastic. So let's move on. Let's talk about Roku that I was watching this morning. Roku got that pop because they became Disney Plus was their friend, because they're just an agnostic aggregator of streaming services. And today we got the gap up, but then we slowly pulled back. So kind of had a little baby down day. Wasn't enough for me to close my position. I've got a naked 115 put option on Roku, and I'm going to kind of just wait around for a bit. I want to see what happens tomorrow. I'd like to hold it a little bit longer to collect a little bit more of the premium that I sold. So we'll see that where that works out. But right now, Roku's been looking pretty good, and I'm just going to kind of hold that for a while. Oh, Peter, you're a contrarian. You're a trend fader. Can't stop fading extremes, buying verticals. You know what? If that works for you, then that's fantastic. The contrarian approach, that's Tasty Traders. Tom Sosnoff, that's exactly what he's doing. He's always fading the markets. I tend to be a little less contrarian and a little more like what's right in front of me. So if we're trending up, I'll play to the upside, and then with little hedges, covered calls tend to be my hedges. And then if the market starts to turn and we start to push the downside and we start to get news and things are getting wild, then I'll flip myself around a little bit and quiet down on certain strategies and pick up on others. But I tend to just play what's in front of me. If we're moving up, I'm playing to the long side. If that starts to change, I'll switch things up. And that's why I like to stay naked on some of my puts, because if you do get a switch, I can easily move those puts, whereas a put spread can get a little tough. Peter, have you ever had trouble? Let me give you a scenario. Let's say you've sold a call spread on Tesla. You're fading Tesla. Let's say it blows through your spread and you want to roll out for time. Do you find that hard to do? Hard to collect a credit and roll out? I'm curious to know. I have a hard time with put spreads. I have to be very careful where my entries are if I roll for small credits. Nothing like a naked position, but still, I can still roll, and that helps me out. So, curious to know, Peter, how that works for you. Let's see. We talked about Luckin. We talked about Roku. So today I also closed out some Starbucks. Let's check that out. Starbucks, I had a naked 82 put and a naked 85 put, and I closed all of that. So I'm no longer in Starbucks. It popped up. We got a high today of 89.10. So that worked out really well, movement to the upside. I also had a position on in Win. So Win, because of the coronavirus, took a big hit and we had a big drop right here. I went ahead and sold a put down here. We popped up, they missed earnings, we dropped, and then we got a little bit of a bump to the upside, and I went ahead and was able to close out my position. So that worked really well. And then the last one I'm going to throw at you guys is Keysight Technologies. When this dip happened, and I will say, Peter, I'm a contrarian for my entries on puts. So a lot of times when I see a big move down in a stock, I'm going to jump in and sell a put. Whereas I think sometimes that makes people nervous. They want to see movement to the upside before they sell a put. I like to see movement to the downside because I feel like it just takes a lot of the bite out of the stock. It tones it down a little bit. So, and volatility tends to peak when a stock is dropping. A little more fear in the market. So I sold a put here. I sold, I believe, the 92. No. Yes, I did. The 92 put, and we got a little move up, bump, and back up, and I closed it today. So I'm all out on keys. So Starbucks, Keysight Technologies, Wynn Resorts, and Luckin Coffee. Those were all of my options contracts that I closed today. So things went really, really well. But let's see, you had to stop yourself, Peter, from fading the SPY at the close. You need a tattoo on the back of my mouth hand with the words, trade the trend. Right. Yes. I mean, sometimes the trend, it helps sometimes to go with the trend, but I get the contrarian play because, as we all know, we are staring at another all-time high, and if I back out a little bit, I mean, look at that. Everyone's saying, oh man, when are we going to get a pullback, or when are we going to get a correction? And it's funny because, and you know, you guys can shed some light on this for me and give me your opinions, but when the SPY's moving up like this and it breaks out, so when we get a correction like this from the 330s down to the 320s, I know that's not a huge deal in the overall grand scheme of things, but after all of this, that's kind of a relief. It's almost like a pressure relief. So I feel like this move down has enabled us to quietly continue moving. So I don't know. It's just been a funny run. And if we go back, we had the September pressure relief here. We also got the July relief here. And then we also had a little April relief back here. Now, nothing like when we hit late 2018 and we had the big sell-off here. You know, we've just had these mini pressure reliefs all along. And so, you know, I don't know. Will those keep us grinding higher? I have no idea. But I'm always ready. I'm always looking for signs of a reversal. Just keeping my position small and varied and different strikes. I'm staying away from the money. I'm keeping myself positioned just so that I don't get myself in trouble and do something crazy. What do I think of BABA earnings before the open tomorrow? OG's bogus. Let's check it out real quick. Let's look at BABA. Anybody else trading BABA? What are you looking to trade in here, Mr. Bogus or Miss Bogus? Let's see. They got earnings. Earnings are tomorrow. Let's see. 6:30 a.m. Yeah, let's see. Sometimes I'll look back and see what they're doing in the previous earnings. And then let's see. We are up, down. So kind of had this pullback here. And it is a binary event. So I think whatever you're feeling, it is high. So if there is an earnings beat, it might be a little more muted than normal because it's already up quite a bit. But it has had a couple little pullbacks. So if it misses earnings, how severe will the downside? So if you look to trade that, say you take a 2-day contract, expected move is about $11. This is the expected move right here. And if we're at 225, that'd probably make it about 214. So the expected move is, I say if you play the 212.50 on the downside, that is outside the expected move. And then 38, you could probably play the 240. So I think if you were to stay around 16 and 17 delta or beyond, meaning right here, 16 or lower delta, or up here, 17 or higher delta, you could play this with a put spread, a call spread, You could do a naked call, a naked put. You could do a strangle, or you could do an iron condor if you want. Um, it's got some good premium. It's got a buck. I like to collect a little bit more than that. And honestly, let's see. Implied volatility is 35%, so 60% IV rank, which isn't bad. So let's see. You bought CFDs on eToro and holding out, hoping tomorrow will be good. What trade are you looking to put on in BABA though? OG's bogus. Are you thinking it's going to pull back or go higher? The thing about earnings events is, they're binary events. You're either going to win or lose. You got kind of a 50-50 shot on it. So BABA could be interesting. I don't have any trades on in BABA. I don't have any that I'm putting on. I think I'd like to see a little more premium, and it could be a little blunted because the markets are closed. So I'll check the premium tomorrow morning. We'll live stream tomorrow and talk about BABA. Anybody else trade anything? Let's see. Let's go. Let's take a look at Tesla, see what it did today. So Tesla continues to have that little wedge thing. I'm just going to draw it because I'm curious. But does anybody else see like a little wedge here? I don't know. Maybe that's a little weird, but I keep seeing this wedge forming, and that Tesla's either going to explosively move down or explosively move up. We'll have to see what happens. The other thing to check, let's look at /NG, because we talked a lot of natural gas in the past, and I want to just check in on it. But look what it did. Natural gas pushed up. There's life in natural gas today. And I wanted to see what was going on. I know there's some weather. I've been seeing more information about storms coming and hitting, and that can always get people thinking about trading natural gas. So I don't know if that's where this bump came from, but I did want to check out UGAS and just see if it did anything today, or see if it was miserable like normal. Not really. I mean, it gapped up a little bit, closed at 43.69, and then over at UNG got a little bump, a little gap up in a small day, close to 14.50. So not a lot going on in natural gas, just kind of more of the same strangeness. Let's see, you're looking to buy you said a buy position. OG's bogus, you're looking to buy a call on, BABA, is that it? Let's take a look and see. Oh, the glute on UGAS. Oh, Ben, right. I actually have heard about the glute. Yes, about the overwhelming supply of natural gas that is available right now. If I go out on BABA, I just want to check to see. You want to buy a call. Yeah, you can buy a call. Yeah, there's not a. I mean, expected move to $11 if you play the 2-day. OG's bogus. So yeah, that's tough. I don't know. We'll have to check it in the morning and see if the premiums have changed. See if things are looking better. Yeah, natural gas has just been wild. So what else are we trading? Anybody else in the chat who's got any stuff you're trading? Any questions or anything? I think I've kind of revealed my number one shining star was Luckin today, but closing out Keys and Wynn and Starbucks, it's just been kind of an interesting day of kind of cleaning up the board a little bit. And then going into tomorrow, I'm going to be really curious to see, what perks up. See if we can get a push up in Luckin. If we get a move in Luckin tomorrow at all, anything to the upside, I'll be able to close out probably 3 more contracts and then be very quiet and sort of light going into possibly this weekend. But looking for other opportunities all the time. I was actually considering putting on another Roku trade at some point. If Roku's staying up here, it has earnings coming up, and if you look at the options chain for this, even if you play the 2-day, it's pretty interesting. I mean, you can come out and sell a 125, 126, 25 delta naked put, and you could do that for $410 on a one lot. So premium's pretty good in it right now, and the expected move's $18. So from 39 to 29 to 26, that's 13. So expected move could be out to 21, right around that 18 delta. So a little bit of exposure there, but really good premium for $138 stock. So we'll have to review that in the morning. I might put one on tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling. We'll kind of cross that bridge when we get there tomorrow morning. But Roku's been just an interesting trader. All right, Joe Dagger, how are you? SPCE. SPCE. What do you like about this one? Virgin Galactic. Okay, let's see. So we got earnings coming up in Virgin Galactic on the 25th of February. Looks like at 4 p.m. And let's just back out a little bit here. Wow. So that's up huge. Yeah, it's kind of comes down to what you feel like you want to trade going into earnings. It's very overbought right now. You can see MACD's up. You can see the RSI is overbought as well. When those are in combination, you get this peak here in the MACD and a peak or a push above 70 in the RSI. That gives me an idea of, yeah, we're a little overbought. Maybe we'll move back to downside. And then the same to the downside. You get this MACD pushing down here in combination with the RSI being below 30. Makes a good opportunity or a good place to consider selling a put option. Boy, if you would have done that, that would have been a nice move to the upside. So Joe, I don't know what you're wanting to trade here. Are you thinking more upside, or are you looking at buying a put or selling a call? Are you trading options or just trading long stock? And I honestly don't know how this one will do. I'm looking back. Boy, it's been through quite a ride, but up huge. Let me see if there's any news on this. Virgin Galactic shares higher as traders circulate bullish Motley Fool article calling the company the Tesla of the space industry. That's super interesting, because when you start getting news articles coming out who are putting the word Tesla in combination with another company, and then you see that it's a lower price stock, that might bring people over from Tesla who are feeling priced out, and it could ignite this one. You sold it in the rip, Joe. That's great. That's fantastic. Did you top tick that thing? Did you get above $24 a share? That's amazing. Nicely done. I'll have to watch this one. I've actually never followed SPCE, so I'll have to check that one out and see what Virgin Galactic does moving forward into earnings. Let's see. TDOC, you have 120 calls. You bought for 65, now they're 30. Should I sell? Let's see. Let me see if I understand. Let's go to TDOC. TDOC. This is Teladoc. I saw a negative article on Teladoc the other day. Not bad negative, but just talking about how they could have some issues coming up. I think it was a Motley Fool article I saw. But so you have 120 calls. You bought 120 calls for $65. Now they're at 30. Let's see. I don't know if I understand. You bought them for. I don't think I understand, Joe. Did you buy a call or sell a call? You must have bought it, because you're asking if you should sell. Sold around 22 and some change. Very nice. I understand what your expiration date is, whether you bought the call, sold the call, and what is your strike. And you bought for $65. Yeah, you'll have to clarify for me. I don't think I follow. But yeah, tomorrow, another day. Carvana, I can't remember if I just talked about that at all, but we had a little baby update. That helped the put that I sold the day before. So we're looking good so far in Carvana. We'll see how that looks. We do have earnings coming up. Could be an interesting play. Juicy profits versus or compared to the price of the stock. If I come out and look at the options chain and we go to, say, well, even if you played it a little closer, like say you played 16 days out, an $83 or $86 stock, and you can, get neighborhood of $300 pretty quickly. So a decent payout for that. If you want to play a little further out, like the 44-day, then it gets a little crazy. You can get $500-600 if you want on a one lot, but it could be interesting watching that one moving forward. Let's see. So let's go back to Joe Dagger's Teledoc. So you said they expire on the 21st. So you've got 9 days left. Let's see. Calls went down to $10, which was 10 cents a contract, and it went to 35 again. So you don't know what to do. Well, I still don't understand. So you bought a call. Tell me what your strike is, Joe. Which strike did you buy? Did you buy like the 115, the 120, the 125, the 130? Which one did you buy? And typically with a bought call, you don't have to worry about it. You can just let it expire. You don't have to sell it. You can just let it go and see what happens. I don't think they had earnings coming up, did they? They do, but it's on the 26th. Okay. So yeah, anyway, any other questions from anybody? I really appreciate everybody stopping by today. This has been great. We were live streamed this morning, and now we are live streaming post-market, just kind of breaking down stuff that happened today. We're going to be back at it again tomorrow, and we'll kind of go from there. So if you guys have questions, go ahead and email me this video if you want. It's going to be on YouTube, so you guys can come and comment on it, rewatch it if you want. Ask questions in the comments since we're not going to be live anymore. Joe, let me see. 120 call 65. Hold on, let me go to TDoc again. So you said a 120 call that you bought, and you bought it for $65, and you've got a few days left. I would just leave it alone if you bought a call, because you're wanting it to break that level. You're wanting it to go higher than 120. So I would give it time to work, and maybe you'll get a pop. Maybe you get a pop above 120 up towards 125. But if you take it off now, you kind of just take yourself out of the game. But if you bought a call at the 120 strike, I'd give it time to just see if it'll work. Chandra Sadaneni, how are you? Welcome to the chat. Any thoughts about Home Depot buy at current levels? Let's take a look at that, Chandra. Home Depot, let's take a look. Home Depot. So, Chandra, right now, I would not buy Home Depot. This is, now again, you do you, but this is just my opinion. What I see on this is that the RSI says we're overbought. The MACD is pushing to the upside, as you can see here. And as you can see, yesterday, it hit all-time highs of 242.45. So a much better place to start nibbling shares and getting in would have been down in here. And obviously, hindsight's 20/20, but if you look at the MACD, when the MACD was down here and the RSI was down here, that's when you know that you're kind of in the neighborhood of, okay, they move back down to the downside. If you stay above this 200 simple moving average, but you get one of these touches again, and let me put a little bubble around it for you. Chandra, if you get one of these again, some kind of scenario like that where you're getting down closer to that moving average and you're seeing the MACD and the RSI on the oversold side, that would be an indication to maybe start nibbling a little bit and getting back in. But right now, I wouldn't be buying anything up here because we're overbought right now. Now, if you're wanting to have an earnings trade and you think you want to buy right before earnings and sell after earnings, if you think that Home Depot is going to go up, you could always buy Home Depot the day of earnings, and then if it pops the next night, you can sell it the next morning if that's your plan. But I wouldn't buy and hold this one at this level. I'd let it pull back a little bit. Gabriel Hines, Invax 221. You bought a call at 7, 8, 9 strike. couple lots in each. My thoughts. Let's look at it. Invax. And Chandra, let me know if you have any other questions. Let me know if I was clear at all. Novavax. What is this? Let's see. Just taking a quick peek, Gabriel. You're welcome, Chandra. If you have any other questions or other tickers or other strategies you want to throw at me, throw them in the chat and we'll put it up on the screen and we'll take a look at it. Let's see. So you bought a call at 7, 8, and 9. You're getting after it here, Gabriel. Let's open the options chain. So you bought a 7, 8, and 9, and you're on 221. So you got about 9 days left. Well, you're looking good right now because you're up on your 7. I think it just depends on if you get a little pop out of this thing. You've got earnings on the 16th, so that doesn't help you. But what I do like about Novavax here, just for your calls that you bought, is that you had this push up and now you're kind of getting this scoop back through here. So who knows, you might get a push back up into the 9s. You know, we'll have to wait and see, but I would just sit on them and see what happens. 7, 8, 9, couple lots in each. You know, if you get a move up tomorrow, you could take off. You could close out your 7 and maybe get some profit there. I don't know what you bought the 7 for, but say you bought the 7 for $1 and you can sell it for 50 cents tomorrow morning. I'm sorry, say you bought it for 50 cents and you could sell it for $1. You can collect 50 cents profit. You might want to do that tomorrow, play it safe. But yeah, it looks like you're slowly kind of moving in your favor. You're above 7, so that's positive. So I would let it ride out, and as you work higher, you could take the 7 off, then take the 8 off, then look to take the 9 off if you do get above that level. But I would just sort of watch them one by one. But one thing I wouldn't do is get super greedy and think that you're going to hit a home run and it's going to pop to 16. You know what I mean? Like that, you can if you're willing to take that risk, but the likelihood of that is much less. So I would just make sure you double check your expectations and not get too overzealous with how high it might go, because we never know. Let's see, good on you, sir, for pushing forward with your channel. Live stream format isn't my favorite type of video, but I will continue to check in and support your efforts with my views and likes. Thanks, Ben. I appreciate that. Can I ask you one question? What don't you like about live streams? Is it because, especially since the live stream will be available on the channel, do you not like it because it's not about one specific topic, but it's about, different tickers? It's sort of improv, so we're kind of ebbing and flowing as we go. Do you like a little more direct, this is the topic, here's what we're doing? But I appreciate your support, Ben. Thank you so much. Anyone else questions on anything? Any other stocks you want to look at? That Novavax is interesting. Stacking it up at the 7, 8, 9. I like it. And then Chandra, I'm just going to peek at HD one more time because I'm wanting to know what the premiums are looking like here. Applied volatility. So right now, Chandra, the other thing I don't necessarily like is the volatility is it is above 56% if you're trading options on this, but it's a tiny bit on the low side, but it's like right at that threshold. If it had a nice pullback, I would consider a put option on it. But right now, just being high, I would probably avoid it in terms of a long position. Cool, I got you, Ben. Thank you so much. I'm glad to be back. It's good to be moving forward, and I like the Go Live format because I like to interact with you guys, and I like to just let the channel go where you guys want it to be. So if you're asking a lot of questions about a certain stock, I can do more digging and make more information, more content about that stock. But doing it live is fun because you don't know what's going to happen. Cool. Peter, I love that. Thanks for everything you do. I really like the collaborative way you do these videos. Thank you so much. That means a lot. I love seeing you in the chat. It's fantastic. So thank you guys very much. I think we'll wrap things up here. We've been on a little while. This has been great. Great turnout. This has just been, it means so much because, the channel has kind of struggled as far as which way to take things. And so to see you guys showing up and asking questions and contributing to the channel and give and take with me in the chat is awesome. Luke Frederick, how are you? Welcome to the chat. We're going to keep going because Luke just showed up. BBBY. Bed Bath & Beyond. Oh, man. Oh, I saw this one earlier, Luke. Yes, what are you looking to do with BBBY? I'll tell you what I think about BBBY. And Gabriel, thank you. Notifications on. I love that. Keep them on because I'm just literally going live whenever I feel like it. I might go live 10 times in a day. I just want to, I can leverage time. I just love to see something in the markets, get excited about it, flip open the laptop, go live, see who's around. But if you've got those notifications on, you'll know if I go live 30 times in one day. So BBBY, we're going to look at this real quick. I want to see what the volatility is doing. That's what I can see down here. Current IV percentile is right on that line, but implied volatility is about 70%. So things are looking pretty good there. And if we come out and look at premium, 44 days out, it's not, well, this is a low price stock. So let's see here. Let's look at, yeah, if I go 44 days out, which is a great time frame, yeah, you could, you could sell a 20 delta put right here and get about 35 cents, which is about 3 times what I normally would want on a stock that's trading at $11. So I think this one's a little low priced for me. I'd be curious to know, Luke, what you're thinking about doing here, like if you were looking to load up on shares, or were you looking to maybe buy a call? One thing that I possibly, if I were bullish on Bed Bath & Beyond, I might buy a few hundred shares and then sell covered calls, because really, let's say you had 1,000 shares of Bed Bath & Beyond, you could come out here and sell, you could sell like 30 delta calls for close to 40 cents. You could be collecting $400 on 1,000 shares. If you had 100 shares, you could collect $40. So it could be one that you could get into a groove with in terms of reducing your cost basis from 11 down to 9, 8, 7 really quick. But I did see some news on Bed Bath & Beyond. I think they had a new CFO or CEO or someone new in their management, and I saw an article about they didn't know if Bed Bath & Beyond could be revived. So they have had some bad juju going. If anything, I would be looking to maybe sell a put here with the intent of getting assigned the shares, getting put the shares, and then wheeling that over into selling covered calls. So I'd have to keep an eye on that. I'll see what it does tomorrow. It is interesting, though, that it ripped back up so hard. Makes me wonder if this was a very over-exaggerated move to the downside. So, and they got a dividend coming. They still have a 17-cent dividend. So, there are a couple different plays you could put on Bed Bath & Beyond. Just because it's such a low-price stock makes the investment not that heavy. So, thank you, Luke, for that. I appreciate it. Anyone else out there? Anybody else want to put something in the chat or talk about anything? Let me know. This is we were about to wrap up, and then Luke jumped in and revived everything. But I feel like we got kind of a nice market breakdown here, and we're kind of getting a feel for what happened today. As far as moving into tomorrow, it's sort of a waiting game. We get a little bit of news about something, it might push us up. Get some negative news about something, it might push us down a little. But overall, it seems like we're getting little fluctuations, but we're just continuing to bull grind to the upside. So until we start to see signs of that not happening, I'm just going to kind of stay light, stay easy, in and out, taking profit when I have it, being very aware and very careful. And the number one rule of all of this is just trading often and trading small. And that's sort of that Tasty Trade approach. If you guys don't know about Tasty Trade, go to tastytrade.com, check them out, they're awesome. If you want to start up an account with Tastyworks, which is their trading platform, built by the same guy that built Thinkorswim, he built Tastyworks, there's a link in the description, and I'll get a referral credit if you use that link and fund your channel with $2,000. So go check that out. Oh, and if you register with $2,000, you can also enter the drawing for a Tesla Model 3, which I know you all want. You're very welcome, Luke. I appreciate your time. Thank you for stopping in. Chandra, thank you. I hope I answered your question okay. Joe, great to see you. Everybody, Ben, OG's Bogus, this is great. Peter, everybody, Daniel, Kenny, who else is in here? Bradley, Waldo, appreciate everybody stopping by tonight. This has been great, and we'll see you all tomorrow morning. Have a great night.